Welcome, friends. Welcome, enemies. Welcome, frenemies. I don't know why that's my intro today, but it's another Talk
It's a
Tuesday
big
here
fight.
on the Experience Point. I am joined with a new face around here. This is. Oh, I did the right side. Should I gesticulate to the wrong side? This is Cece, aka Busy Cece. They are very busy all the time,
So busy.
but they took some time out of their day to talk about a particular game that is almost 20 years old. It's 19 years old this year. Tell me about Okami.
Where to even begin with Okami? Truly. It's beautiful, it's stunning, it's really silly because you get to be a freaking dog just walk around being like circling people like, I need you to pet me, and they'll be like, this dog, I gotta pet him. Like, this is all I ever wanted in the world.
I want to be a dog. I also want to pet a dog.
I mean, you get literally one of the skills you can do is you paint a circle around someone and then they'll get real happy and then they run towards you and pet you. So, like, I'm not joking. That is a feature added in the game. They're like, we know what this is about. This is
Aw.
about beauty and this is about, I'm playing a dog. Well, I gotta do dog things. I gotta bark. That's a big thing. You gotta bark. You gotta make people pet you, and when you're fighting monsters, you have to use all your divine instruments to save the world from utter darkness and
As you do.
literally the dark lords of the universe. Basic dog things.
Yeah, just dog things. And peeing on fire hydrants.
Well, not fire hydrant, but peeing on your enemies. That's a
Oh,
good one.
wait, do you actually pee on them in that game?
Yes, you
Oh,
can.
that's hilarious.
You learn a skill called Golden Fury from the dojo, which is literally you pee on enemies and you get a demon fang from them.
What in the world?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't offer any preamble, and I apologize. So this is a little segment. It's the entirety of this is called Experience Share, and I have people on who are like super into something, and I'm like, hey, I'm not into that thing. You tell me about that thing, and maybe I'll want to play that thing. I've had people on to talk about Yakuza. I've had someone on to talk about a wonderful game called Steambot Chronicles that I'm not going to stop talking about because more people need to play it. It's basically Studio Ghibli with mechs. And today, I have to slightly lie because I have technically played Okami. However, it was only for about an hour, and it was on the PS2 version when it first came out. So, and I've forgotten all of it. So,
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm still going in almost 100% blind. I'll call it. We'll round up. It's like 97%. We'll round up to 100% blind. So, for those who don't know, if somebody is on this earth who doesn't know about this game called Okami, what would be, if you created Okami, how would you sell it to somebody in your elevator pitch?
Alright, I'd say, imagine you are a celestial god that has to save the world through means of your own brushstrokes and your own creativity to basically bring not only like magic or happiness, but also just like bring back the rejuvenation of the world around you. Like, you control plants, you can control the sun, literally, you can learn to do different techniques that literally control the world around you. Imagine that. You have basically the ability to paint things into existence. Imagine all that energy, but you are now a white wolf who has all that energy. So imagine basically, I like to think if you've played Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, imagine if you were always wolf and always will be,
Okay.
and you're more powerful because you don't need Midna telling you. You have this scrawny little misogynistic little guy named Isun who really should be the most cancelled character of them all.
Oh God.
But I love him very much. He's the one thing I have feelings about besides certain challenges in the game. Because the way you meet Isun, this is not the elevator pitch. I would not start with this part.
Okay.
But literally, you find out about him because he literally pops out of the bosom of this cherry blossom goddess that awakens you.
Oh.
Because he was sleeping in there.
Okay. Oh right, he's kind of like the oh my God, what's the flea on Inuyasha? Miyoga? Is that his name? Do you know what I'm talking about? Did you ever watch Inuyasha?
I have. It's been a long time though, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I don't remember the name for it
He's like
though.
this lecherous old man as a flea, and he just rides around on
Yes, yes, the
Inuyasha, and
old
he's
one.
like, "Oh, Inuyasha, we must go, see beautiful women." I don't know, maybe that's a line, but that's definitely his voice. So he's like a
I
little
mean, it's
flea
not
or
too
something, isn't
far.
he?
Yeah, he's a little bouncing guy. Technically, I believe they're called. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just finished it. And I can't remember their name because they're not that important. But it's like they're basically a group of people. Like there's a tribe of people that are these little guys that work with celestial beings because they are considered celestial envoys. They
Ah,
are what actually help encourage gods like grow and basically distributing like almost like a missionary work of like doing things to share the word about them because they will paint
okay.
them, and painting in this world is significant. It is basically how you create reality, and the world itself is also in a very beautiful like brushstroke style of artwork. It's three-dimensional, but it's also just you see like very sharp edges on things as if it was a brushstroke on there. It's very beautiful, and I would say looking back between the Wii version of it, which is the one I played on, and the new one for the Switch, like it's the HD version.
Hmm.
There's like some differences, but it's honestly I have not found it to be like significantly different. It is still very beautiful to look at.
Yeah, I would say that's probably the most iconic thing or recognizable thing about it is the art style. Like, anytime like cell shading and that kind of anime style has kind of been around for a while, but this really like has that kind of the ink looks wet. You know, there's like
Yeah.
splatters, and it's like if you've played Street Fighter 4, like that that's very much like that, where it's like on the
Mhm.
impact it'll just be like splat, and it's color and vibrant, and it's almost got like this, like Samurai Champloo has like kind of like that similar art style. But I remember when it first came out, I was working at GameStop at the time, to tell you about how old not to age myself, but I think just okay, so it came out on PS2 in 2006. I started working at GameStop in 2009. So it
Mhm.
was, a couple years old, but still fairly new. And
That was when the it came out on the Wii. I believe it was 2009 or a little bit after when it came out on the Wii, so that makes sense.
okay. Yeah, and so when I worked there, you were able to like take a game home for like 4 days or something, or whatever it was, and then so that you could sell it. So I was like, I want to see what this, cool painterly looking game is. And I played it for like an hour, got distracted, and never went back to it. I had to take the game back, and I never went back, and I always wanted to. And I can't tell you what it is that made me not. It's just one of those things where it was like, I liked this. I had fun with this. And then they were like, oh, it's on the Wii, so now you can use motion controls for the brush. So it actually feels like pretty natural. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll play it. And I never played it. So I'm super stoked to hear. I know from just how we've talked off mic about it. I'm saying this like we aren't actually friends in real life. Uh, like you're a guest on my show, but we
I
are.
have no idea. I don't know. This is very professional. I've never met you my entire life. It's not like I've known you at all. Like, who are you even?
No, no,
Some
no. We
some
definitely
YouTuber,
haven't known each other for
Twitch
years now.
streamer.
uh,
Like I'm just here for the content. That's why I didn't give any other information besides my Instagram
yeah,
name.
it's definitely. I'm doing you a favor with my enormous like following of
Oh,
friends of fans, and that's definitely why there's nobody in chat right now talking.
doesn't help. It's 9 on a Tuesday, but that happens no
That's
matter
true.
what.
I do normally do these on or at 8, but I had a meeting
Mm.
in on somebody's Japan some a meeting with somebody on Japan time, so it was like 10 a.m. for them. So I was like 8 p.m. That's
Yeah.
usually when I do Talk Tuesdays, but I was very appreciative that you could push it back. But maybe
Oh yeah.
maybe people come on in later, but it's okay if not. This is mostly for me. I want to absorb the passion. I'm gonna eat the passion of Okami, and maybe I'll actually finally play it. So, did you say you played the HD one or the Wii one?
Well, both. I've played the Wii one. I think I've completed it 3 times, and this was
Damn.
all yes, did it a lot. I loved this game so much. I also just loved the mechanic too. Like that was when also Twilight Princess came out, and I learned that I had a huge love of games that were really trying to be like, okay, you've played a character that's a person running around, but what can we do with an animal character?
Yeah.
What can we explore around there? Like, how are we gonna move? Like, obviously, generally you can have as many people walk around and you've got an idea of what that looks like. To do an animal one, that's harder to like get references for that and to do that naturally. Okami just moves very smoothly, very naturally. Everything walks very nice. You can make her crouch, you can make her walk around. She just is very, I mean, she's a perfect like model of a wolf. Like she does such a good job at like the motions and graphics involved and all of that.
Yeah,
Just
even
very
more
fluid.
so than Twilight Princess, like the Wolf Link,
Oh
which I
yeah.
thought was fine. It was good. Maybe that was another reason why I didn't really pick it up, because I at that time Twilight Princess was pretty much 2 years old. I think that was 2007, and I didn't.
Yeah.
My one of my Zelda hot takes is I actually didn't love Twilight Princess, and I found the wolf parts to be cool but too repetitive. And so maybe I was like, I don't know if I want to do another wolf game. I'm just
See, I
fishing
can
for
understand why that's a
excuses.
little bit iffy. I think because people just talk to you as a wolf in this world, it doesn't matter as much. Where instead of the town of, Twilight Prince, everyone's just screaming. They're like, "Oh my God, it's a wolf!"
Yeah.
Where instead of like, in Okami, it's just like, "Oh, it's a dog," and they'll just be like, "How you doing, Poochie?" Like every character has different names for you. One of them calls
Oh,
you Snowy. One of them calls you Fido. Another one just says, "Hi,
Fido.
Poochie." Other times they actually say your full name or say like, oh, hello Kami or hello Amaterasu, which is like her full name, Okami Amaterasu
Yeah.
or Amaterasu. Also is Shiranui, but that's like a weird mix up with like the history of it too, because
Mm.
that's going into the plot, which we can get further into, but I don't want to fully go into that part yet.
Yeah. So they're aware that you are a god.
No, they're just aware that you're a dog and they're like, "Hi dog." Like there's truly as if you would see a dog and you wanted to talk to a dog. There's just being like, "Hello guy, are you hungry? Do you want any like food?" Like there's this grandma that like every time it's nighttime,
Oh.
she'll make what is it? She'll make these little like dumpling cakes. It's not cherry ones. No, they are kind of cherry cakes.
Oh,
And
I think I
like
know what
it
you
has
mean.
this whole funny scene where she just makes them real intensely. But she's always like, "Oh, like you come by every night and I'll happily feed you." There's like another person that like just basically every time she sees you, you don't need to like draw a circle around her with the brush. She will come running towards you, real excited, has a heart over her, and she'll just pet you. And
Oh,
there's an animation for that of like her doing it, and like you just move your head a little bit as Okami, and it's just beautiful.
that's so cute. We have a friend of the show, Parallax Puddles, in the chat right now saying Ermagerd Erkermer, which to
But
translate,
come on,
he always comes in and does this, and I have to decipher. Oh my God, Okami.
I was about to say, I was like, "Oh my God,
Ermagerd
Okami,
Erkermer.
come
I am
on."
100%. I think I've gotten it every time, even when he says like the weirdest shit. Welcome in, Parallax. This is my good friend Cece. We're talking Okami, and I guess I am surprised to hear that no one actually knows that you're a god, considering you have a flaming medallion on your back at all
See,
times.
it clarifies in the game very soon because basically because there's not enough praise or belief in gods after like Okami passed away and like was reincarnated, they don't see you as a god with stripes and everything. You are seen to them as a
Oh,
plain white wolf. And that's always
interesting.
like the look of it. They'll always be like, "Oh, like well, you're an interesting dog." Like there's a couple who have a stronger belief with gods that will see your stripes and everything.
Oh, that's
Like there's
cool.
this whole like not a plot but like this little side thing going on where this little girl sees you and she sees your stripes and everything, and she's always real excited, and her older sister who doesn't believe in gods basically is like, "Stop talking to that white wolf,
It's
like
gonna
don't
eat
be doing
you.
that." Yeah, and it's just like, "You're making stuff up. I don't see any stripes." And then the kid will be like, "I swear." And then you just see you sobbing and you're like,
Oh,
I'm gonna make this older sister know it's me.
pay.
Because sometimes it's like, if if this dog can hear me, then it's gonna hit me. And then you headbutt it and she's like, "Wait, can you actually hear me?" And you're like, "That's right."
That's
And
great.
you get praise in certain ways, like stuff like that. So
And what
it doesn't.
what all does a dog need in life but praise?
Well,
Parallax
you
says
need
all.
praise. You need food,
Yeah, I
lots of
guess.
food, which you can have. You can have you get actually food is an important part in the game too,
Oh.
because if you get a full stomach, basically, that can bring you back to life if you lose all your health in battle.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which
Uh,
I had to use a bit more this last time I was playing Okami because I decided to challenge myself by basically trying to not increase any of my health points as much as possible. I unfortunately cut a few sun fragments, so then that happened. I was like, I forgot about that.
uh,
So, but I think I finished the game with 4 or 5 health points, which they're it's interesting. They're not exactly like hearts in Legend of Zelda, but it takes more than just one hit to like lose the whole like health point
okay.
basically. So
Gotcha.
a good comparison might still be like Legend of Zelda of Hearts, but it doesn't like go in half or anything. It's like a circle of like a sun in it, and it just shrinks more and more.
Okay.
So hard to fully like say how much your HP is, at least in my experience with it.
Yeah. It feels akin enough to Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
Parallax says all dogs have halos. They are all best buds, and I couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I guess we're talking about the mechanics a little bit. So it definitely, from what I've seen and from what I vaguely remember, Zelda was a big influence. Would you say it plays kind of like a Zelda? Is it open world? Are there dungeons? Like, what's the kind of main mechanics? I know that there's a brush. That's pretty much all I know. Is you have this celestial brush that you can. I think the only power I got when I played was the wind one. I think you just draw maybe a circle or something. It's been so long.
It would not have been wind. I can tell you that right now.
Oh,
You
maybe it's not
probably
the wind
learned
then.
how to make the sun
That's
and
probably it.
maybe how to make flowers.
I think I got the first one.
Yeah, you got rejuvenation, which is you can fill in broken areas, and the sun, because that's Okami's brush. Like another thing with all of her techniques is she has to regain them again because she had passed from a previous battle
Hmm.
and was reincarnated, but she only has so many, like she's lost all of her skills basically because they've been scattered across. So it's a bit of her also like regaining it. Uh
So it's like Metroid.
gameplay, yeah, gameplay wise, it is in a sense Legend of Zelda. I would say that there are areas where you can travel outwards, so it's semi open world, but not like Breath of the Wild kind of open world, more in that like area of like with Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like you have areas that you can travel to, needs to load for certain areas, other times it's fine.
Yeah.
Um
Semi-linear.
yeah. Actually, I'm trying to think. I don't know. I can't remember fully how much it was inspired by Legend of Zelda stuff because from what I remember looking into originally, the creator wanted to have it actually based on like you are a wolf with a pack and you're a pack of wolves and it was gonna have a very different art style. Like if you look up
Oh.
previous versions of it, it had a more blotchy art style to it. It was looks actually more similar to what the sequel trailer looks like.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Oh, I
lot
can't.
more spotted and much more like I think India ink instead of the more
Oh, okay.
it's yeah, very patchy instead. So that's what it used to be, and you can see like I think one of the skins you get when you defeat the game, it's basically I don't know if it's an homage exactly or it's
Hmm.
just an Easter egg of what Okami used to look like.
Oh, that's interesting. Uh,
Mhm.
Parallax says, "Did anyone else draw a phallus as their picture in Okami, or is that just my immature self?" I couldn't tell you. I didn't, but CC sent me some screenshots of some things that they drew, and it was like all of a sudden I just saw "fuck you."
Well, okay, that was a specific one. So for specific challenges to get the what I consider the ultimate, the best piece as well, is known as the stray beads. They're called stray beads. It's like those are
Okay.
the extra points. And you get 99 of them, and you get a last 100th piece at when you finish the game. For context for what happens or like what those challenges involve, it's a plethora of things.
Hmm.
It could be literally just opening a treasure chest. It could be helping out someone or just finishing a challenge, like you're racing someone or you're helping, basically using this child who says, I'm a psychic and I can tell you what the next fashion's gonna be. And then she can think in her head, and you go, all right, I guess I have to see the fashion designer and paint this on a kimono until he says, this reminds me of a familiar thing. And then the kid's like, you see, look, I predicted it. And you're like, sure, kid, okay.
Shut up.
Sure. And the most difficult one, I don't know why. I don't know why it's so difficult to just make the correct symbol. You have to do the old symbol of the god, which is like basically a slash here, down, down. This might be from me looking at it this way, so it might look a little different, but one line here, one that sways out, one down here sways out, and then another in the middle. It has to be
Oh,
smaller than the top one.
it's
It's the older Japanese symbol for God, I believe.
I think it's heaven. It's 10. It's the symbol for heaven, the kanji for heaven.
Yes, it's heaven. They call it God, but yes, it's
Mm.
basically that symbol. And they are so nitpicky in the game, and you have to wait till he literally says it reminds me of a similar thing. And I painted that, like, I'm not kidding when I told you earlier, Andrew, that
50
it took
times.
me about 50 times, and I just kept doing it, and then I kept quickly speeding through. There's a great recording I have of myself because I wanted to save it, of like the immediate pause after I see the right wording, because I'm like, oh, oh, finally. Oh, okay. This one, this is the one you. This one,
But the other
got
49
it.
were garbage.
The other ones just didn't cut it. And like, I'll be honest, I did a good job on that one, but man, I'm pretty sure I had some good ones beforehand.
Yeah. That reminds
They
me
were
of like
just
I think it was Professor Layton. Did you ever play any of those games? They were on the DS.
it, maybe it's been a while though.
They're like kind of like brain teasery games. Like there's an overarching like story. Like you're a detective
Uh,
guide, usually trying to solve some kind of mystery, but you do so by like doing little brain teasers and puzzles and stuff. And sometimes it involves moving things around, like a sliding puzzle, or sometimes it involves writing things. So you would write the answer if it was a number or a letter or something. And sometimes I would
mm,
be like I would test the limits of what would qualify as a letter or a number, and if it was like if it's looking for the number 3, because you would draw on with the stylus on the DS, and it would be like if it was the number 3, you could draw like an ugly little 3, and it would kind of like snap to like a better 3, because the game has to know like what your answer is. And so I would just draw like random like scribbles, and it would like snap into a 4, and I'd be like, that's okay, sure. And I would submit it, and it would be right. And I'd be like, cool, okay, I guess this is what we're
did
doing.
it?
I did it.
Congratulations.
I'm so smart at this game.
Yeah, they did not. They don't let that happen. Okami is not that nice to you. Okami goes, I'm sorry, did you draw a circle? No, you didn't. You drew the wind. It's
Yeah.
windy now. And you're like, I wanted to draw a circle. I wanted this tree to blossom. I did this motion with the Wii remote and said, no, you did
No,
this.
that was a square.
You, that's a wind. I'm sorry, you did wind. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't do wind. Or you'll be like, all right, I'm going to use my very powerful fire magic, which is an infinity symbol. And it'll be like, what are you trying to do? What was that? And then I'll go like this. And I'm like, oh, you're talking about fire.
Oh, sorry,
Oh,
dog.
dude, you want fire? Why did you say so? Got you, bro. And you have the whole infinite cosmos of fire in front of you. You're like, I just drew a squiggle.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of connected. I just zigzagged and was like, that's what we were looking for, man. You got
Hmm.
it. That's an infinity symbol if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, it's
You
like
could draw the most perfect infinity symbol and it'll be like,
nice circle.
they'll be like, what'd you draw there? We didn't activate anything because that's not a symbol.
It's like learning
Huh.
Japanese, and you're like, oh, you wrote this kanji out of stroke order. Looks like bullshit to me. That's not a real word. That's
That's not a
frustrating.
real word. Silly. You're like, okay, I'll
Does that
just do it again.
hamper? Like, did you find it annoying enough that it was like a dark blot on the game itself? Like, does it happen enough that you're like, this fucked everything up?
No, because I didn't use that symbol enough, to be
Ah,
fair, because I used other fire things, or like you can connect a fire symbol to another, or you could literally have what's your weapons are considered, or they're labeled as divine instruments. So literally you could have a divine instrument that has flames around it, and that's you can use that fire source to burn something else. So you don't really need to worry about that.
Ah, okay.
And like the wind one, just sometimes it was picky about it. Other times it was fine, but like most of the time it was perfectly like chill about that.
Okay.
Like
That's good to know.
it was like the little issue. One thing, and I will understand that this was user error, at least growing up, I would not draw the circle for flowers in a circular motion where it was starting at the bottom. I would start at the top, and it did not like that.
Ooh.
I did not like that, and
I
it
do
would
not
not
like
work.
that.
I do not like that, Sam I am, and I told you, stop fucking doing that. I'm pretty sure I had a very clear, here is the shape, you do this right here, and what are you doing? Oh, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing
Doing
it
it
wrong.
wrong. I don't know what else to tell you. You're doing it wrong.
I
You
need to
need to
watch
stop.
Surfs Up again right now.
You're doing it wrong.
So you beat this 3 times?
Well, technically now it's 4 times
Oh
because this is
my god.
HD. Oh
So you
yeah, I
hated it.
love the game. Yo, don't recommend it.
In what kind of span? Because I remember 1 year ago, almost to the day, we were at Magfest, and you were like, "I'm finally about to start playing Okami. I want to talk about it afterwards because I know that I'm gonna love it." And I was like, "Cool." Magfest now has just ended, and you're like, "I was thinking you beat it once, not freaking 4 times."
No. You're misunderstanding. 4 years when I was playing it on the Wii, I played it and I finished it 3 times years ago on the
Oh,
Wii. No, I mean technically the amount of hours I spent playing that game is less than 48 hours and I finished the game
okay.
with doing like a lot of challenges. I did not 100% it this time because I did not want to try to find every single fish and animal to feed. That's another thing is you are a benevolent god and
Hmm.
you get food for the wild animals and you feed them and there's a whole cutscene of you every single time you feeding the animal as you are some gracious god sitting higher above them as they are beneath the ground like eating the ground as if it's like that weird meme of like here is sustenance like you have saved me.
Yeah. May I have a scrap?
My life is in debt. You have saved me.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. So you had played
Yes.
it previously. I don't know. I must have
Yes.
misheard. Magfest is
Yeah.
loud, so maybe I thought you were saying you're gonna play it for the first time, but you were
First,
saying you're gonna play the HD for the first time.
it was the HD, yes, because
Okay.
I was thinking about just getting the Wii and restarting it on there. Which, would have been good, would have been not good. Like, I would have definitely looked and been like, I got those extra stray beads still. Because the way I finished the second two, or the second and third run, was because I had the stray beads. I had the lovely, powerful stray beads, which, if you play again with that, and you attach the stray beads, you never have to worry about two things: running out of ink and
Hmm.
dying.
Oh, both important
You
things from what I
literally
gather.
it restores it. You have infinite health and infinite ink to
That's
do
wild.
anything. So it is literally just encouraging you to be like, no, just play again and go hammer. Just
Yeah.
let it all happen. Just see where it takes you. You've got the stray beads. Why
Yeah.
not just take a while on the wild side? Just see where it takes you. Have some fun.
You
See
are
where it
literally
takes
a god after all, so
Yeah,
that
why
tracks.
not? Why not? Go kill some monsters. Let them
Yeah.
punch you as many times. You won't die. I
Just
mean,
stand there like a badass while you're being punched in the face, not even flinching.
poop something on the ground and have it explode and get two demon fangs instead of just one.
Yeah, pooping on the ground. That's what you
Yeah,
got to do.
I'm not kidding. That is the other one
In the game or in real life?
in the game. In the game, yes, you learn. Look, I'm telling you, there's this game has both beautiful artwork and very stunning just gameplay and also the funniest things ever.
Yeah. I
Like,
never would have thought that. From the gravitas of the presentation of it, it seems like it would be so austere. And now you're telling me you can pee on enemies and poop on the ground like a dog would.
yeah, it has to be when you're in battle though. You're not allowed to pee out in public when you're
Mm.
not fighting monsters. When you're fighting monsters, you can pee and poop as much as you'd like, or if you're at the dojo when you're learning to fight.
Yeah, it's just like
You
real
can't do
life.
it anywhere else. Yeah. I only pee at dojo.
Yeah, yeah. It's usually when I'm fighting monsters, I'll just kind of poop on the ground, and sometimes that scares them away. But most of the time, it makes them
Just,
angry. Okay, so you played the HD for the first time on the Switch.
mhm.
Do you have the motion controls? Do you use a Joy-Con as the brush?
Yes, you can use the Joy-Cons or you can actually use the Switch controls to brush it. I would say it's difficult to say if it's better or not because
Hmm.
I really loved the motion of the Wii remote. One thing I did notice, or at least I couldn't figure out, is when you use the Wii remote, you can actually lock it and do a slash a lot easier, which
Hmm.
actually made certain techniques easier to do, like the slash, the slow motion one, or the intense gale storm. Like that was much easier to do when you had that lock setting that basically be like, okay, well, I have this locked. It's going pretty almost horizontal. It might be going in this fashion, but it's generally going to be a solid straight line and it's locked in place.
Nice.
The the Switch version, so the HD, that one did not have that. I was a little grumpy about that because I was like, it was just so nice having one clean line.
Yeah.
But it was little things like that that like honestly didn't bother me. Like I will also say I didn't have any games crashing in the Switch, so that was nice.
Would it crash
The
often on the Wii?
specific things made the Wii struggle.
Oh.
Specifically fighting the Crimson Helm. That is a battle that has so many things going on. I think that's honestly the only time I ever had it crash. I think it crashed one other time just by happenstance. I couldn't tell you if that was my Wii struggling or if the game was just too much.
Yeah.
But it was mostly one specific thing that I always tell people if they're gonna play on the Wii. I'm like, all right, there's gonna be a time. There's gonna be something that's gonna be called the Crimson Helm. I'm not gonna tell you anything about it, but you want to save
Yes.
and be ready. Already, the beginning of the battle has like a save file. Like, should anything go wrong, like you
Okay.
walk through a thing, and it's like, all right, this is an emergency save, just to make certain. That's the only time I've ever had it crash, though. Is it just the monsters fighting? You have extra things that are protecting you, and the game kind of just goes, well, shit. This is a lot for me to handle.
I'm overwhelmed.
You're like, ah, cool.
I'm shutting down.
Are you okay if I just make the loudest buzzing noise and freeze on you?
No.
Cause I'm about to do that. Like it gave the death noise, and I'm like, um, is this gonna be okay? Did I just break the Wii?
The Wii just
This
melts into a
this
puddle.
is this is a family Wii. I can't. This isn't
No.
good.
That's like trying to
And then we
play
just
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on the Switch. I'm like, it's too advanced for the Switch. People have downloaded ROMs of it and played it on PC with no alterations whatsoever, and it runs fine. Like it's just too. I don't even want to say too good, but too ambitious for the Switch. So when the Switch 2 comes out, you're gonna be able to play it just fine. So I think, and that's such a Nintendo thing, like making games that are it's too ambitious for the current systems that they run on.
Yeah, and then that makes some sense why also it did really well or initially was on the PlayStation. I remember seeing an article, what was it, that the creator or the one of the lead directors for Okami prefers people to do it on the PlayStation. I can't remember the full reason why. It might
Interesting.
be because of how well it handles it.
Huh. Do
There was
you
a preference talking about. I literally saw an article about that recently, and I was like, "Well, jokes on you, buddy. I like the motion controls that the Wii U provides, or
Yeah,
the Wii
I
provides."
feel like
So,
it just feels tactile, and it feels, I imagine it's kind of engaging and immersive, I feel like you're actually drawing the little symbols and stuff.
oh yeah, it's
if
very nice.
if and probably when I play it, I'll look in to see what it looks like with the Switch motion controls, but right now it
You
sounds like
might
Wii is in the lead aside from the crashing issue.
that's the only problem with it. Is again, it's one boss. Everything else worked perfectly fine.
Mm,
Honestly, I honestly didn't notice a huge difference. I mean, I'm sure if I were to play the Wii version again and look back, I'd probably be like, yeah, it's a little foggier. It's not as clean cut, but also it works well with the animation style of it that it doesn't feel bad.
yeah. Maybe I'll play on the Switch then. When you were saying the the PS2 to the Wii version, do you know about the? I have to talk about this. The little the debacle with the cover art for the Wii version.
Oh, I remember hearing about it. I'm trying to remember what was it about they got angry. I remember hearing about that.
So apparently, when they were making the Wii version, they it's a different cover art, and so they needed like different, a different art. So rather than, I guess, tapping somebody internal, at the company that they work at to be like, hey, I need a high res file of this, cover art or whatever to put for the Wii version that we are making, they got an image from IGN, which has an IGN watermark on it. Actually, wait, let me look at my shelf because I have to take my headphones off, but if I have it, I'll show it to the camera real quick. I think I have one I know I have one with the IGN watermark. I don't know if it's worth anything, but other than that, it's still very funny. So hang on one sec. I'm gonna show it if I have it.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, because it's a nice design on there, but the fact that it has the watermark on there truly is an extra bonus on there. And I think it also had the ratings on them too. That was like a recent thing. They'd be like, oh, here's the rating, like 9 out of 10, maybe 9.5 out of 10. It had a good rating. I'm trying to make sure I add filler space right now because, yeah, it's truly though. Anyone else having a good time with the game? Like, I also want to hear if anyone else is watching this. Okay, I want to hear your least favorite stray bead. I want to know that.
It's in storage somewhere, I think.
No, that's okay.
But it's hilarious. It's like it's kind of right under her face on the Wii version. If you were to Google it or whatever, on like these actually went out to stores with like the IGN logo on it, and so I'm sure that person got either murdered or fired. But it became a big stink because they literally you were like, so you went to a website and you thought nobody was gonna notice that you just downloaded something from IGN.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
Oh my god! How are they gonna know? How would they know?
Well,
they're just gonna know.
Putting your logo on it will definitely do that.
Yep, I'll do it.
So, okay, what else can we talk about? So, do you want to talk about? I mean, I mentioned MagFest. You went to MagFest this year. Do you want to talk about something maybe that you may or may not have made for this?
Yes, so I have right here.
Yeah.
Lovely mask here. I cosplayed as Okami for one of the days. This is a 3D mask that I ordered, and then I literally just painted it, which gives it more of the brushstroke effect. Like you can see up around here, like how the nose is actually just painted in, which makes it look just even better.
Yeah. Oh, Parallax says nice doggy face.
Nice doggy face. Woof woof.
That's so cool. Yeah, and like your fit, like the rest of the fit was like a really cool, I don't know if it counts as a Gijinka, but like a humanized version of it. Like you had like the burning like circular crest thing was like a clutch, like a little purse or something.
It's called a divine instrument. How dare you?
I'm so sorry.
And second of all, that is a handmade bag that I made.
Did you?
Yeah, I was gonna use a sewing machine, and then long story short, every time I tried to get the leather needles for it, the fabric store I wanted to go to was closed, and I said, well, screw it, I know how to hand sew and I have the instructions. I guess I'm just gonna sew this by hand. How about that?
Damn.
And I had little flowers inside of it. I brought a Buddha board with me. You know, the boards where you can use water and it basically creates the mark on there.
Oh, cool.
Have you ever seen it? Yeah.
No.
And, if someone recognized, you just put water on it. Like, you have a paintbrush, you paint water on it. And wherever, I don't know if it's temperature or moisture or whatever it does to detect, but it will basically show what's underneath it, which is a blackboard. So whatever absorbs that color of the water, you see black instead. So it looks like a nice, like, ink stroke or brush stroke across it.
I thought you were going to say when you were trying to sew with the leather needles that they kept breaking, because that was in my one piece of cosplay that I made back in the day that was leather. I had to wear like glasses because the needles kept like snapping and flying off of the sewing machine, and I was like, this doesn't feel safe at all.
No, that's not good. Nope. No, we had it was the needles for, oh wait, no, it wasn't the needles, it was the adapter I needed. I had the leather needles, and it was not like a thick leather. It was goat leather, which is a much thinner leather, and it's very nice to work with.
Okay.
Used it for other stuff. But I didn't have the adapter that has to help make sure everything moves properly. That's why it was the main issue. Because I bought the needles. I was trying to get at the store, couldn't find them there. Got them online, and then I was like, oh, I need the adapter. And I was like, I'd rather go to a store in person, show them pictures of my sewing machine, and be like,
Right.
hey, I need the adapter to help with leather. Do you have that? And then I went there, and they were going to be closed for a while because they were doing inventory stuff. And I was like, screw it. I have really nice needles. I've got a little leather thimble thing for other sewing related stuff. I'm just gonna do it. Just gonna do it.
And you
It's
did it.
fine. I did it. It was very lovely, and people really liked it. And I actually had a great interaction in MagFest with specifically one of the merch sellers.
Nice.
Ooh, I actually got prints last year. Or I got print last year. No, I got a few prints from her, but some of them were gifts. She does ink blots, very pretty stuff. I don't have the name of her right now, so I unfortunately cannot spread the name out to her, but she's very lovely. I can look for it later. But I saw that on Friday night she had an Okami ink blot and had a little note thing like she's finally getting a sequel, and I was like, that is very beautiful. I told her how much I loved Okami, and I told her I'm actually gonna be cosplaying next day, so I'll definitely visit by. And she's like, yes, please do. I would love to see it. She got super stoked when she saw me, and I used the Buddha board to draw a circle, which when you do a circle in most of the game, it makes a flower. I tapped on the board and I secretly had a flower underneath it. So when I lifted up, she was like, you did the whole thing. You just made a flower.
That's awesome. I love that so much.
Yeah, I did that with anyone who recognized or complimented my Okami. Like, there was actually a Midna who I saw.
That's funny.
And I was like, I love your Midna cosplay. And she's like, oh, you're Okami. I was like, oh, well, I gotta do this now.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
two had like
that
a
was-
predator, like handshake. You son of a bitch, like wolf crew. Hey, General Onox is in. Welcome. He says, Midna. Yeah, There's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of crossover with the. That's what I want to see, like Midna and Okami or Amaterasu. Is her name also Okami?
her full name is Okami Amaterasu.
Mm,
So people either call her Okami, some people call her Ami for
yeah.
short, some people call her Amaterasu, and technically people call her Shiranui because that was her previous name given to her when she was first like arrived like on human lands or the plains, basically the
Yeah.
human plane.
Okay, and I think it's also a
So,
pun because Okami is wolf in Japanese.
yes.
Yeah. My queen, Parallax says. Midna, my queen. That's right. Parallax is definitely a stand for Midna, particularly the
She's
human
beautiful.
form.
It was human form Midna. She had a beautiful outfit, like wig and everything, all the designs.
That's
Top
awesome.
notch, top notch.
I gotta say though, Parallax, are you cheating on your girl Pura for Midna? I don't know if that's how you pronounce her name, Pura or Pura. The one from the little scientist girl from Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess.
Oof.
Hashtag simp for the imp. Oh my god, that's amazing. Simp for the imp.
Look, in this day and age, why not both?
You have
Why
to.
not both?
Hey. Porque
Okay,
no los dos. Wow. Jinx.
Yeah, because we're thinking the same taco commercial.
Yep.
That's the saddest thing. It's not even that I know Spanish. It's just I remember that commercial so much. We want soft hard. I want soft shells. No, I want hard shells.
Porque no los dos. I just think of Road to El Dorado. Both? Yes, both. Both is good.
Both is good. Both is good.
Parallax. Oh, okay. Pura is amazing, but that queen. So Midna is number one. Gotcha.
I mean,
Okay.
she is literally a queen.
Um,
She is the queen of the Twilight Realm.
she
So
sure is. I'm gonna tell Pura. You got thousands of years between them, depending on how time in the
you,
Twilight Realm works. That's fair too.
you
That
got a
is
lot of
fair.
time.
You
There's
do.
a lot. Who knows what time Breath of the Wild happened?
I
Also,
know.
is it in the same realm? Which timeline is it in? Which link? We don't have time to discuss that.
I know. I think one of the worst things that they ever could have done was release that timeline that they then had to walk back and be like, well, actually, it's not entirely true. They could have
Look,
just let them all be separate universes. Why?
you could have made it simple with the Ocarina of Time. It was so simple. There were three different worlds, and then hell came on Earth. Like, what do you want?
Yep. I do like though that I think it's Wind Waker is the timeline where Link stays a kid, I think, and doesn't come back.
It's when he doesn't show up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I just showed Polisa that for the first time, and actually Ocarina and Twilight or Wind Waker, and I kind of want to show her Skyward Sword next because I really like that one. I know I'm in the minority of that one, but
See, it's one of those, I enjoyed it. So, am I gonna say it's a great one? I don't know. I definitely had preferences for other games, but I still had a good time playing it. So,
yeah, I liked it more than Twilight Princess, which I know I'm pretty much one of the only ones who would say that.
ooh,
Onox says agreed. Honestly, I just believe all the Zeldas before Breath of the Wild was just legends passed down since legends get fuzzy and mistranslations throughout time. I like that. Like it's not, and they kind of say that in Wind Waker. They're like, you're not, supposed to be the reincarnation. You just take up the mantle on this island. You just wear his clothes, basically, or clothes that are supposed to be in reference to him. And I like that I think when you beat it 3 times, you get to keep your pajamas. Because I love the little lobster shirt that he wears. I was like,
is that how that happens? Well, see, this is where it comes from. It's all in my family then, because my brother played it multiple times, so that makes
okay.
sense.
Yeah.
It's just in our nature for us in my family to be like, oh, it was a really good game. Okay, I'm going to play it like 5 more times now.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah, at max 5. Yeah, I'm not too crazy. I'm not going to do it 6 times. Jeez.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have time for that
Nuts.
anymore. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Onox is saying, wait, I forgot. General Onox, your username is from Zelda, so of course, of course, this is your time. You understand the ancient Hylian after you beat it. So you remember like when you talk to Velu, the dragon, or the big fish, and you can't understand what they're saying? When you play it a second time, it's actually translated, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway, keeping it back to Okami.
Legend of Zelda, this is Okami time.
Yeah. Also, I will ask. I should have asked before we started, but do you have like a hard out tonight? Do you have a time limit? It's already almost 10:30.
I'm hoping I'm gonna be stuck in the house. Hopefully, if it snows enough, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me know when it gets to like 11:30. Then I'll be like, okay, I gotta go.
Okay. Yeah. Usually these go for like maybe an hour and a half. So, it's
okay. Yeah.
it's like
just an hour and a half. We'll see how this goes. I could talk.
You're like I got so much more to say.
I could talk so much about Okami. I could tell you about how it's just beautiful. I've already talked about how beautiful it is. I can tell you about the gameplay too. And how cohesive it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Tell me about everything that's not a spoiler. Oh, sorry.
Not a spoiler. You really feel like everything connects nicely. Obviously, you're not. I wouldn't say it's ever going to be a perfect game because I honestly don't think I know a perfect game that doesn't have any little bit of a flaw. Like even my favorite games, I'm like, yeah, it didn't have this thing. So I'm not going to be like that, being like, oh, it's the best, everything's perfect. I'm like, the most part though, the way you interact with the world, how you can go back to the world and make changes to it. Like it's not the same level of like like a Hollow Knight aspect where you can go back and you explore a new dungeon kind of sense. It's more like you're exploring new things and maybe you'll go back to a new entrance that's going to be able to get you to the new area, but most of the time it's a pathway with the ability to go back, gain more experience, learn more about the area. It's just very fluid and there's so much of a world. Like
so kind of Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's not fully like that. It has little bits of the Metroidvania.
Okay.
Not too much of
That's
it.
good because that would have been a red flag for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it fully goes into that area. You're much more exploring new things before coming back to it. And honestly, the only time that I feel like was the most like you went back is because there was an area you could not at all reach. You did not have the ability to reach, but you knew you're like, okay, well, one point I gotta get here. I'm just gonna have to wait till that
Yeah,
becomes a thing.
I'll come back when I have the whatever jump glide ability.
Your brushstroke techniques,
Yes,
your brushwork, your celestial brushstrokes.
your divine celestial tools. I, don't,
That hurt. That hurt hearing that.
I
I
have
think
never played this. Although you did say it probably like 10
you,
times.
I said it so many times, and you could have literally repeated the same thing. You're like, all right, it's my time to shine. I'm gonna just say something else. I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, it's longer than you think it is. Even though yes, I it took 48 hours for me to finish the whole game with doing other stuff and sometimes slacking. Like I have a friend who's playing it right now and is I would say 2/3 slash maybe 3/4 the way done.
Okay.
And he was like, "How close?" Like, he's like, "I'm worried I'm like near the end." I'm like, "You're not near the end.
You're not.
You're not. Like, you're fine." He's like, "Is there more?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's more." He's like, oh, "Okay."
I've heard that
Yeah.
too. Who I usually have on for Tuesdays, Josh from Still Loading podcast. He that's one of maybe the things he likes least about it is that he thinks it's too long, especially towards the end. He says it kind of drags, and I was like, okay, I can't offer anything there, but that's good to know. I'm curious how that lands with you. I can already see you.
I don't know. To me, it's because I really love the game that I wanted
Yeah.
it to last longer. So for me, it was lovely. I loved also seeing like the growth in different characters and how each like era is different. Like, because this isn't really a spoiler for it, it's just more knowing about it. It's a lot of Japan. It's in Nippon.
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally a part where you're more towards the coastal area. There's one you're more towards the fields, the forest, and then there's one at the very end where you're near up in the mountains. Like
Cool.
it feels lovely to see different parts of the world.
Mm.
And like sure, it gets a little bit repetitive near the end, but I would say they cut to the chase a little bit faster when you get to the very end, the last village. I feel like they're like, all right, here's what's going on. Yes, there's this other subplot going on, but this is also going to be pretty straightforward, all things considered. Like, you're seeing new things, but at the same time, it's not as like, all right, this is a big village. We have to take care of so many things, so many challenges. Like, there's a big old town or big city, which is like what they consider the big street, like the big city, the Big Apple, which is not.
The
It's
mean
like a few
streets of
streets.
Edo.
Yeah, it's look, it's not Pallet Town, but it's absolutely not New York City.
Yeah,
It's that level of it.
yeah. Okay.
But like that was a lot, and then when you go to the final one, it's not that level busy. I'd probably say it's a lot simpler. There's a lot less things going on with the villagers that you need to be involved with. So it feels like, yeah, everything's coming together now. It's a nice addition of just characters too. So
Okay. Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know what I would do about like getting rid of it because it also like provides a little bit of character growth and like finishing like basically clearing up certain loopholes that people were having. Like, wait, how did this happen? That doesn't make sense. Oh, now it makes sense. Okay.
okay. Yeah, as long as it has enough value to the story. Like, speaking of Zelda's Skyward Sword, at towards the end, like the last like 80% of the game, it just kind of becomes a bit of a collectathon, and it just lasts a little bit too long for me. And
Mm-hmm.
Wind Waker did that too, and they fixed that on the HD. So, like the whole collecting the Triforce shards, like you have to collect a map piece for every Triforce shard before you get the Triforce shard. And I think in the HD one, they're just like, we're just going to tell you where they are. You don't have to go get all the maps first, because it's already kind of annoying enough as it is. So I'm curious, did they, having played both of them, is there anything like that they update or, truncate for the HD version?
So for one of them, I'm not 100% certain. Specifically, oh, jeez. I'm trying to remember if certain challenges were a little bit simpler for them. I would say it's a little bit more generous for certain like attacks, or it's a little bit more has a little bit more grace period for certain things.
Okay.
But also, I played that when I was in middle school, high school,
Yeah.
and I'm now a full grown adult and I have muscle memory, like even better muscle memory. So I
Right.
couldn't tell you if I mean the motion is very similar. It's a smaller controller, but I know the same like slash motion to do. It's not that hard for me to remember that. So like it's about I don't know. I'd say it still keeps it easy. And also this game is not I will say, all things considered, not hard to beat, really. Granted, I don't know how that's going to work for if any kind of playthrough plays it who's not the greatest at video games would do on it.
Gotcha.
I would say, though, like, I remember watching or listening to the original soundtrack, including the sound effects on YouTube one point. And one part was like literally the death scene, like when if you die, like loss of battle or whatever. Literally what I saw in all the comments, first of all, I was like, huh, I never died, so I've never heard this before.
Ah,
I see so many comments on there being like this comment, if you never died, people were like, I actually don't think I ever died. It's not that easy to die. Like it's
wow.
pretty like you
Okay.
take care like because the way you get stronger is by helping the world around you
Aw.
and you get praise from the land or from people and you use praise to build up your stats, so it's fairly I don't know, I feel like it's a very forgiving game when it comes to actually playing it because I feel like the game wants you to complete it.
Yeah.
I've never found it being so difficult to play. Like I played difficult games and like that one felt intuitive, things made sense. I think there was like one time I was a bit confused about, but like it's for the most part pretty straightforward.
That's awesome. Yeah, I know. I beat Sekiro not that long ago, and I'm like, anything is going to seem easy compared to this fucking
Yeah.
torture of a game that I love with all my heart. Is there
Yeah, but even with
difficulty levels?
literally I would say difficulty level is your instrument, what divine instrument you're using, and how much you're going to increase your stats. I've never seen anything that like you could control your stats on it. So
Okay, but
that's
it's not
another
like
thing.
a normal
No,
mode, hard mode, or anything like that.
no,
So that's
it
what
is just
is that
plain and
why?
simple.
Okay, that's why when you played it this time, you tried to do like a challenge run of not upping your health.
Yep, exactly.
That's cool.
I was like, let's not do that.
Yeah.
And I remember like I would do my ink blots, and you can get multiple stomachs as ways to basically survive.
You
So
can what?
you can become cow and have four stomachs. Did I not make myself clear?
Oh, Okami.
Oh, cow me. Oh, moo me. Oh, cow moo. It's oh, cow moo. Amaterasu moo? Amaterasu moo?
Amaterasu.
Amaterasu?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you use that as ways, like, it's also the same thing, like, you can increase your wallet space too. It's that kind of, like, growth you can do. It's not really ever level up based. There is no leveling up. It is what items you have, what weapons you have, and what's your health at?
I
Like
love
that's
that.
kind of it. So it's fairly easy to do. Well, okay, I say it. It feels like a game that's fairly easy to get into and enjoy yourself with it. Like
Okay.
that's what also appealed to me. I didn't feel like I had to struggle to really get good at the game.
Yeah.
I will say, ooh, this is one thing I'll say that's very different between the Wii and the Switch, which was how attacks were done.
Hmm.
They know it used to be all motion controlled, which you had more of a preference in what type of divine instrument you wanted to use because there were three types. You either got shield, you either got rosary beads, or you had sword. Those were your three options. You start with the shield and you deal with that until you basically get to a new area, and then you can have beads instead.
Hmm.
And I forget when the first sword appears. It takes a while for the sword to appear. But the way you had to do is you had to swing correctly to do combos. And
Oh.
so it was really difficult to figure out which one matched well with you.
Yeah.
So weirdly, my sister, I have a brother and a sister, both older. My brother loved using the swords. My sister loved the mirrors or the shields, and I loved the beads. While playing it this time, I don't have to swing it. I press a button to hit it, which is
Okay.
really, it felt upsetting, but at the same time, I liked actually using the shields more in this game. And I never touched the swords ever again, and I barely touched the beads. I was like, you know what? I actually prefer it this way. Feels more comfortable.
Yeah, I
So
would definitely opt more for that because I action games that I play, the Niers, the Bayonettas, the Devil May Cries, I gotta be able to know what the combos are via the buttons. So that's
yeah,
good to know. That's another plus for the Switch. For plus, I want
yes,
to
and
play it in the best looking version usually. So
yeah, it is. It's truly, I don't know. I can't fathom like why people might not like it, other than that certain parts either feel too long or too easy.
hmm,
Like, I find it just very enjoyable to also explore the area, because you truly are just running around, you're interacting with the world, you're seeing how you can make it basically a better place, which is, nice to hear, as the gods literally being like, oh, let me fix this up because, you guys are doing jack shit and the world's a little bit in darkness, so by a one idiot.
wow,
So let
sounds
me go
like
fix it.
the perfect time to play this game.
Except that idiot was, he's redeemed. He's much more redeemable.
Oh,
But
okay.
very, very different. Very different kind of idiot. Was
Okay.
just more didn't want to fulfill his destiny, and then in doing so caused his destiny to start. So
Wow, ain't that just the
it's,
way?
ain't that just the way?
So you said it took about 48 hours to play through it this time.
Mhm.
That's having already played it 3 times and doing some extra stuff. So on a casual playthrough for the first time, not trying to. So here's how I tend to play games. I will go through the main story, usually on Mondays, on Main Quest Mondays, here on the Experience Point. Hey! Um, and if I find compelling side content, I'll do that too. But if somebody's like, I need you to go collect 7, you know, fucking dandelions so that I can make a flower crown for my kid, I'm going to be like, fuck your kid and your kid's dandelion crown. I'm not going to do that unless I know that it's really compelling. Like in Horizon, I love how compelling the side quests are in that game. So I will do all of those because they feel as well written, and the gravity of them is the same as the main quest. So if I were to do the main story, maybe in a little bit of side content, how long do you think that would take?
Could probably cut that in half for sure. Like, I
Okay.
took a long time doing other stuff too. So I would definitely, I think that would be a good start, like a full day's worth. But also, what doesn't help is I know where to go. I'm a lot faster. It's
Yeah.
both, it took a long time, but also at the same time, I did everything fast. Like, I know where I need to go. I know where I need to find everything. I don't have any issues with that. Like, and I didn't even do all the dojo stuff this time. Like, I was just like, no, I learned all the mirror instrument stuff and how to pee and poop on enemies. Like, I'm good.
It's all you need.
I know I learned how to headbutt really well and how to dig better. What more could I want?
That's true.
I'm good.
You dig, headbutt, pee, and poop, and you have a divine celestial paintbrush from the gods. All the
Uh, it
things.
it's my own brush. How dare you? And
That's true.
yeah, it's. I would say for certain side quests, there's definitely ones that are more compelling than others. Like there's one that's just out of pure spite you do,
Okay.
which is the one that I showed you a picture of, which is racing Kai, the stupid deer wolf lady
Uh,
who is so fast and makes no error, and you don't need to 100% your race, but you have to basically you're not cheating your system. What you're doing is you're going, hey, there are obstacles that are making this slower for me. I can literally fix those. I'm gonna do that during one of the races or just on my way up to that path, and then it's fine. And then
nice.
that makes it so much easier.
You can fix them before you challenge her to the race.
Because she races you to a place. I think they're called the Ponkles. I think the Ponklins. I
Mm.
think that's actually the name of the Isan guys. She takes you to where their hut is, basically, or where their village is.
Okay.
So initially, you're just staying up with her. She then asks, I really wanted to know, like, who's the faster? Like, who's faster, me or a literal god?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I want to see you, like, don't hold back. Like, I want to do a race. So you can race her in doing that time, or you can just have Isun guide you back through the same pathway, and you can just fix it before you race her. And
Ah.
even then, it's still a challenge because you need to do enough things right. Otherwise, she will beat you, and you always need to get an extra step ahead because she is faster than you.
Oof. Sounds
She
like the
is
running
always faster.
the running guy from Zelda, who you
There's a,
cannot beat. You physically cannot beat him.
there are running guys in Okami too. Those two you can beat because
That's
they
funny.
literally do racing games, and those are good. Apologies if you hear a sad vocal boy. Someone's doing his vocal warm ups at 10:40 at night.
Ah, okay. Well,
He's fine.
tell your boyfriend. No, could you imagine? This is my
Yeah,
human partner going.
he's totally fine. He just does this. Totally fine.
He poops in a box of sand too. I just can't get him to stop.
It's just, you know what? He buries it at least, so
Yeah,
I can
at
appreciate
least.
that.
At least I don't have to look at it.
Yeah. Except
Uh,
I have to clean it myself.
yeah.
Can't do
It's
that
that
himself.
weaponized incompetence. Get out of here.
Yeah, he's disabled. He has no opposable thumbs.
Oh
It's a
God.
struggle.
Now I'm just thinking about a cat with like human hands, and I hate that.
Obviously, you've never seen the commercial about that. I forget what the commercial was actually about, but it was like it's as advanced or as powerful, like you'd be as powerful as if cats had thumbs. And
Oh.
you just see cats licking their thumb, turning the page as they're reading a book about war
Ew.
crimes and warfare.
War crimes which they commit.
Yeah, it's
Onox
a great
says three
commercial.
o'clock right on the dot for mine. Yeah. How does that? We're gonna get it. Welcome now to Cat Talk on Talk Tuesdays. When I always am fascinated, cats have like a internal schedule of like they know when you feed them. It's usually at a certain time.
Hmm.
What about daylight savings though? Like, does that fuck everything up for them?
I mean, it definitely messed him up, but he also already has not a great clock. That if
Oh,
I'm here at home at 3, he'll start begging for his dinner that I normally feed him close to 5:30 when I come
what?
back from work. He wants it as soon as possible, and I look at him like, "It's 3. Do you know what that means? I'm not feeding you.
He's like, but
That's
it's
what that
getting
means."
dark out.
And he's just like, "I'm sad." And I'm like, "Yeah, I understand that, but I'm not feeding you now because you're going to be even louder tonight.
Now I'm gonna starve. I'm
You
wasting
took
away.
you took the only food I have.
You
Now I'm
a-hole.
gonna starve." That's just the mindset they're in.
Yeah.
And it also
Chaos.
doesn't help that he's a Siamese, so he's real chatty.
Oh, really?
He's a chatty guy. Oh yeah. He's
No.
also probably upset that I'm staying up late, and he's like, "It should be bedtime soon, because then you give me bedtime snacks, and I'm not getting bedtime snacks right now. What's happening?"
Clearly, everything needs to revolve around me and my bedtime snacks. Well, yeah, it is getting close to 11, so I won't
Yes.
keep you too long. Is there anything else you want to share or gush about Okami? I'll ask a question maybe that'll lead you into all of those things. What do you think was it the most that really made you like, okay, yep, I'm gonna play this 3 times, and then another time, and then cosplay from it, and then just need to just inject this directly into my own body?
I would say truly it's just how beautiful it looks.
Hmm.
Like it's just eye candy to me. That's one of the reasons I love playing is I loved just interacting with things. It felt just fun to watch and experience. It had a little bit of an edge of being like, "Oh, like I'm just going to do this little thing. I'm just a dog. I'm just gonna walk around the village and just be a dog and do dog things. Like it felt almost like a tiny bit of a Sims life, but instead of like actually controlling things, you did little stuff instead.
Huh.
So it made it really fun to just interact with the town and do little
Mm.
challenges. It also just felt real exciting to just explore areas. Like I always just loved running. I love because there's so much of a landscape you can run. And there's one point where you have the ability to run on water, and it looks
Oh,
beautiful when you run on the water.
I love
So
that.
it's truly like I think the story is good. I think the story could be better. But it's not Okami Den, and that's another story we can talk about for another time.
Oh, is it
I
the
feel
DS one?
we don't talk about that one. That's
Uh-oh.
I can talk a little bit about that one too. But it's truly just how beautiful it is. I love the stylization. I love the characters. Even the weird ones, like I still love how they're designed and how much personality they have. Even even though it's annoying to deal with some of the side quests, each NPC has so much character to them. Like you have sometimes when people are like there's a guard being like, "I'm sorry, Poochie, you can't go through here. It's my job. I gotta keep an eye on things." And then like
Oh,
sometimes they'll talk to you, being like, "Yeah, Emperor's being a little bit weird lately, but I probably shouldn't be telling you about that.
you're a dog.
You should go get some food." Or sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, where's your owner at?" Like it feels very personal. It feels very like in touch with human connection. I really like
Hmm.
that. It just
Onox.
felt very honest. All the
I
characters.
like that. Earnest, very it sounds very human. It sounds very
And you're a
approachable.
dog, so it is very earnest because everyone approaches you. I mean, sometimes it's very much feels like it's baby talk, but other times there's just this kid that's like, "Hey, dog, you think you're better than my dog at doing this? I bet you can't do this. My dog's really good." And you're like, "I'm literally a god, and I could
Right.
kill you at any second." But
Which is
you know what?
dog
I'm
backwards. I'm sure that was not intentional from Japan, but
no.
uh that's so Onox is saying he remembers seeing old advertisements in magazines for it back in the day. Visually super appealing. I didn't even know it was on the Switch. You got me to add it to my list. So that's a +1 to the
Ooh.
Okami fandom.
It is truly beautiful.
Cece's
It's
like,
just
my work here is done.
I've done it. I've at least shared one person, and if you ever do end up playing it, you have to let me know because I'll happily just commentate you and how you're doing something poorly wrong,
Okay.
or I'll be kind. I haven't figured out which one I'll be because you'll probably hear too many times. I'll be like, okay,
Uh-oh.
and you'll be like,
Oh, no, I
am I
got,
doing something wrong? It's like, no, it's fine. Feels like
That's
I'm doing something wrong.
it feels
No, no, you're
are
good.
you mad at me? Oh,
No,
no, it's
no,
just I just
no.
think it's
That was
funny.
just that's just interesting. That's all.
Hmm,
Whoa, what's interesting?
that was a choice.
Yeah, so yeah, you just went right ahead. That's fine. Did I miss something? I don't know, maybe. You've played it a few times, so you've probably missed something.
I forget.
That's fine. It's not important. It's not important. It's fine.
Well, I will min max those brushstrokes. Yeah, totally. I probably will play it. I can't say it'll probably be anytime soon. I have a lot of things. Steambot Chronicles is
Yeah.
taking over my life right now, and apparently you can put thousands of hours into that game. So I need to play Armored Core 6. I need to. This is just on Mondays, my main quest Mondays. I have a lot of story based games. Devil May Cry 5, which is. Was this made by Clover?
Yes, Clover Studio. Yes.
They were, if I remember correctly, they members of Clover went on to become Platinum Games. If
I
I'm
think so. I don't remember exactly because they were. I can't remember if they were fully associated with Capcom or if it was one of the other game developers that were involved. I know Capcom was very much a part of it because I kept seeing it. That was
yes,
like the easiest thing to see. I was like, Capcom. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah. So apparently, I
Anyway.
just looked it up. It was they merged with another company that became Platinum Games. So that's like a +5
Mm.
for me. Like it's jumping up the queue for me because Platinum is my favorite developer, and I will play anything that they make. Like they made Nier Automata and Bayonetta and Metal Gear
Oh, okay.
Revengeance. So like
Yeah.
they know action games.
And
So
I will say, at least whenever the sequel comes out, play the first one. Skip Okami Den. You're fine. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about that one. It wasn't originally made by the same people. It was like the directors or the main production person's son who made it.
Okay.
And while it was great for a 3DS, just ignore it. It doesn't exist. It's fine. A lot of people say they love and think it's very cute, Okami Den, and it's cute. It just brought more questions
Okay.
than answers, and I was like, why did you do this?
I hate that.
No. Stop. This is my last airbender.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's that bad, but in my heart, it's
Oof,
that bad.
the live action.
In my heart, I'm like, we don't talk about it. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense.
I guess there's 2 live action airbenders now. One is a literal affront to all things good in this earth, and the other one is fine. I didn't finish the Netflix one. I was like, whatever. It was kind of like the One Piece live action. I was like, oh, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. It's acceptable. 5 out of 10. The bender we do not speak of. Yes, absolutely. The M. Night Shyamalan one where he doesn't even know how to pronounce the main character's name. Ong! And also decided that all the Asian cast should be white.
Yeah.
Great choice. Great.
Like, you did an idea to focus on the regions, and then you also just didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. Just like in Okami, where like you chose to do the pup, and then have this weird extra character that's somehow related to a character from the original series, and it just doesn't actually make sense. Like, what? No, that doesn't make sense.
Boom.
Actually, just don't. I will say one nice thing about Okami Den is there was this annoying character that would be around you, like, oh, we gotta go into the market, we gotta disguise ourselves, and it's just a white piece of paper that you get to paint. So you can write things, and my wolf, my Okami Den, I forget the pooch's name, or just Poochie, had a piece of paper that said, I'm with stupid, arrow pointing up, and then the character writing me just said stupid, and I was like, this is acceptable.
That's
I can
awesome.
write a lot clearer right now than I would on the Wii.
Yeah, for sure.
This is fine.
I mean, you got fuck you out pretty clearly.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of energy. I got some good brushstrokes right there. About to have a stroke too, so it was really great dexterity there. Really great dexterity.
Hey, every game has its faults. Even like you said, like, oh, my favorite game. They all do. I'm wearing an Oddworld Abe's Odyssey shirt right now that my wonderful girlfriend got me for my birthday. And even that game, I think it gets a little bit too long at the end as well. Where does this land on your, if you know, is this like a top 5 game? Is this a top 10?
Oh, it's a top 5 game.
Wow.
I have to love a game so much to get multiple tattoos of it. So yeah.
You have multiple tattoos of this game?
I have.
We should have led with that.
Well, they're hard to show because they're on my thigh.
That's fair.
I don't feel like this is not the kind of streaming channel you have here.
Not that kind of stream. It just immediately shut down. Well, here, I'm going to take off my pants. This stream has ended.
Wow. Like, all right. Gotta stop that now. But yes, my goal is, as a side note for people, is I have a huge Eevee fan. I have currently, I've counted 84 Eevee merch things. Goal is to get 100 at one point.
Whoa.
But yes.
Eevee specifically, or all the Eeveelutions?
All the Eeveelutions.
Okay. What's your favorite?
But I have Espeon.
Oh, okay. That's a solid choice.
Yeah. Easy peasy for that one.
I think it's probably Jolteon for me.
Jolteon's a good class cannon.
I like
it's
pointy.
Class cannon.
It's pointy.
But my goal is to get a tattoo of every Eevee, and it's all in Okami art style.
Oh, that's sick.
Which people, if they see me find my account, they can see the original drawings I did, because I also originally, back in COVID times, painted or like drew/painted Okami Espeon or Okami Eevee inspired pieces.
Yeah.
And they're part of the inspiration for what I have tattooed, but it's also with the tattoo artist's inspiration as well, so they're slightly different.
Nice. Onox says Penny in real life. Totally. Wait, I thought you haven't played Scarlet and Violet yet. Onox.
That doesn't mean you don't know Penny.
That's true.
Everyone knows Penny.
I guess that's fair.
I've
Um,
considered cosplaying as Penny
really?
because of how many Eevee things. I was like, I could make an Eevee bag. There's a Etsy template you can buy just on how to make an Eevee bag. I was like, I could
Yeah.
do that.
Oh,
And
you
then I was
did
like,
play Violet. Okay, I thought you said. Yeah, I know you're working on Sword now, Onox. I thought you said you were gonna work
yeah.
up to Violet, but that's my fault. Yeah, I played Violet too. I have to send you something then because I found this like it's like two. Is it 2 or 4? I can't remember. I think it's 4 actually. They're wall scrolls that are done in like kind of an Okami art, and it's I think it's Glaceon, Flareon, Espeon, and Umbreon, and they kind of connect so you can hang them next to each other.
Oh, that's a DeviantArt thing I think I remember seeing. Because, yeah, I remember seeing the Eevee, I've seen the Espeon, and I've shown that to my tattoo artist to see those.
Oh,
Potentially. It might
nice.
not be the exact same ones, but I'm always down to see those.
Yeah, I don't. So I keep getting ads for those things, and I'm like, I really hope this isn't like stolen art. It kind of feels like it's stolen art.
I just know it's from DeviantArt. I have no idea where it
Okay.
originally came from.
It's one
So,
of those like TikTok shop things where I'm like, did you steal this or did you actually make it? I can never tell. But
yeah.
but they look rad. I almost got them, so I'll send it to you and you can make a informed decision of whether or not.
Yeah.
Maybe find like the true artist if it's not.
Yeah, and if people want to see the artist who did my tattoos, she's in Pittsburgh and her name is Knife Dreams.
Nice,
Love her work, very lovely, queer friendly, and all that good stuff.
nice.
And has, I think, the recent one, and then the other one, like after it's healed, like 2 years healed or something like that. So yeah, I plan on going back there a few more times just
Nice.
to I get all of them. So my next one's gonna be Flareon
Okay, I was gonna
because
say, are you
my
doing them
top
all?
three is Espeon, Eevee, and Flareon. Those are the
Hmm.
bigger ones. I love Umbreon, but Umbreon is not as like special place in my heart kind of thing
Yeah.
as like the other ones are. Like Eevee because it's Eevee, Flareon because the original 4 or the original 3 evolutions, Flareon was my favorite. So that's where
Yeah.
that comes from. But then
Jolteon
I'll get
and Glaceon for me.
Jolteon, Glaceon, got the yellow
Yeah.
blue, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. I feel like Ice is such an underappreciated type. Ice used to be my favorite type, but it's probably Ghost now.
Ghost is good. I've always loved psychic types, and
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that when you say my favorite when I say my favorite color is purple, everyone immediately goes, "Okay, so how many purple things you have?" And you're like, first of all, how dare you? Second of all, not that many. It's fine.
How dare you clock me?
It's like, what are you
Uh,
talking about? Puts on a purple jacket. I don't have that many purple things.
oh my
God.
god. I know I say this wearing a purple shirt. Parallax, your favorite Pokemon's Haunter? That's mine. I'm so I see. I knew you were good people when you came into my stream and we started talking about Beast Wars. Uh, Haunter is my all-time favorite and so underloved. Everybody goes for Gengar, and I'm like, no, I like the pointy. He's so pointy. It's probably why I like Totodile too. He's just so cute and pointy. He said, "Did we just become best friends?" We absolutely did. And I like the disembodied hands, like the floating hands at school. But he's
Just loved
goofy.
Haunter from I loved it from loved Haunter from the show.
Yeah. Just
Just love Haunter.
haunt, haunt,
Trying to
haunt,
make
haunt,
a
haunt.
joke. Just making jokes, and you're like, that's a literal bomb he has in his hand.
Right,
Uh-oh.
right, yeah. Okay, maybe
Oh,
let's not murder children today, Haunter.
it's fine. She's a gym leader. She can handle it.
His initial episode when he was just a straight up goof was the best. Yeah, totally. Or like
Straight
when
up goofed and literally took the souls out of Ash.
Ash and
Pikachu, and
Pikachu
you're like,
die, and then it's like, hey, come hang out with us. We're just chilling and watching TV. I'd be like,
I don't know if they
oh.
even fully died. They hurt themselves, and then Haunter was like, dope, I'm gonna take these souls out of here, and the show's never gonna discuss it again.
Nope. Who knows?
No.
Espeon and
Wow.
Umbreon. Onox says Espeon and Umbreon were mine for EB from Coliseum. Oh god, that game.
Coliseum,
That game
yes.
needs a remake.
It needs a remake.
I was
Yes,
shocked
I
when I.
actually got a sticker of it last at MacFest, and I was like, "Yes, it's Coliseum."
Oh, sick.
My boys.
Yeah, I love that you start with those two as well.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
start
your
off already like in power. You start off already like a total badass like Pokemon thief. Like,
Yeah, and then they give this weird white streak under his nose, and they just go, "Yeah, that's what a cool person has.
yep.
He's not weird. He's totally cool." And you're like, "What the fuck are you
Okay.
wearing? Get that
Okay.
off, sir. What? Were you a lifeguard? Is
Yeah.
this
Right.
sexual? Like, if that's the case, then why is it so sharp angled? Like, dude,
I know. I liked
get
XD
out of
as
here."
well. The first
Who's
edgy
doing
Pokemon protagonist. People love edgy. They sure do. But he was so
what's
cool, and I
edgy?
loved the like. uh,
What's edgy?
I loved the desert punk kind of aesthetic of that game. God, I want a remake of that right now. Speaking of Nintendo announcing things, we can maybe close with talking about the potential sequel for, well, not potential, the
Potential.
potential
It's
for.
happening.
I know it is
Just
happening.
when.
It was actually really funny whenever that whatever direct that was where they announced it. I was remember watching it and being like, seeing the art style and a bit. I was like, oh, another Okami remake, and I said out loud 2 seconds before the logo came up, I was like, it's not a sequel. And then it's like, Okami sequel. And I was like, oh, okay, it is a sequel.
Yeah, I got notified by my sister, and she was like, "Easy, there's an Okami sequel. They just announced it." I was like, "I need to find this trailer right now." And I think she
Yeah.
sent it to me, and I was like, "Hell yes!" And everyone is just an uprise of everyone getting so excited. I've seen so much more Okami art recently because everyone's like, "Let's go! She's got a sequel."
Yes.
Let's go. We're gonna see our lovely girl come back. And everyone's like, "Are we gonna see these characters again?" I'm like, I hope I never see Isan. Or I hope he's a better man. I hope he's a better man.
We all love a redemption arc.
He just needs to be less likely of, going after women's boobs, like in a
Yeah.
non-consensual way. Like
Yeah.
he was he had the things he had things for women. It was fine until he was just like, I can never say no to your friends. And you're like, Isan, I get it. You nicknamed her Busty Babe,
Oh
but
my
you
god.
gotta chill. It was funny as a kid.
That's the
I
early
look back and
$2000s.
I was like, oh. But as a kid, I was like, it's Busty Babe. Oh, Busty Babe. I'm not gonna call you by your real name. You're just Busty Babe.
Damn. That was
Oh.
the time. I think that was the early 2000s. There are some things that have just not aged properly.
Yeah, and that's the only spot though. That's truly like the only part with it, which again, not great. But I'm like, he gets to becoming a better person, and as long as if he comes back, he's a little less like that. He can still be annoying, just not that part of annoying.
Yeah.
All I want.
What do you as probably the greatest Okami fan on earth, what do you
No, don't
want?
even start with that. Don't even start with that. I'm certain there is someone out there that's like, yeah, do you even have any of these things? And I'll be like, first of all, maybe. Second of all, not all of that though. Like I'm trying to get a playthrough, like the guidebook for it, so I can have that as part of my collection.
Nice. Well, as the
But
biggest Okami fan that I personally know, what do you want from a sequel? Like, is there something that the first one needs? What do you need this game to have?
I I think what it needs to have is it needs to have that human connection again. It needs to still
Mm,
keep that love of just interacting with villagers in such a nice, calm way, in such a nice, like, optimistic mindset, and a further exploration of like what you can do or what a game can look like with art styles. Like it was very interesting just to see what it was looking like with the new art style. I don't know if they're gonna keep it that way or they'll do a little different. And I'm hoping it's a different area unless things have changed enough that it's okay to do it back. Because that's the thing. Okami Den literally just did the same place with some additional changes to it.
ah,
And that it it worked and then it didn't work because you're like, I don't know how I feel about this edition or that edition. It feels very abrupt or clunky. Whereas like if they worked on it a little more again, maybe it's just the right production and just making things stay as smooth and beautiful as it did previously. Like honestly, that's I'd like it to be a new place. It doesn't have to be if there's enough change and still like intriguing like things going on in the area, you know?
Yeah.
Like if it's the same place, you're like, well, you know,
Either
I've been there before. I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of like with Breath of the Wild. Is technically it's the same place, but there's a lot of things that have changed, and that makes it, more enjoyable.
Yeah, expand on it in an interesting way or do somewhere entirely new.
Oh,
Um
mhm.
my jaw just hit the floor because I looked up. I was like, did they announce who's making it? I was like, is it going to be platinum? Hideki
It's
Kamiya is
yeah,
coming back and reviving Clover Studio to make this.
yeah.
And I
He
was
is.
like,
Yeah, Clover Studio is coming back
what?
to make this.
That's incredible. I can't even
That's
imagine that, especially with Kamiya-san. Like his, oh, he has.
also 20 years,
I know.
almost 20 years, and they
Yeah.
said, you know what? Just gonna bring it back. You're like, bring it back.
I hope this is successful and he can make a. Ah, no, but Nintendo owns Bayonetta now. Shit. I was like, I want Hideki Kamiya to come back and make a Bayonetta Devil May Cry crossover with Clover games. Reviving Clover. Oh, it was at the Game Awards. That's where it was. I must have forgotten that because I'm sure I reacted to it. You can go to my YouTube right now and watch my live reaction. That was only a couple months ago too. God, I'm getting old. It was a month ago. It was like, or no, it's February now.
No, it was like
Like
December.
a month and a half. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have forgotten that Clover was coming back. That's so cool though, and he's great.
He's just becoming the Miyazaki of the gaming world. That'd be lovely.
I
He's just like,
know.
I'm retiring. I'm done with retiring. I've come back.
Right.
I'm retiring again.
I am unretiring.
I am unretiring once more.
I feel like that's what Kojima's gonna do as well. He's gonna be like, all right, well, they're not letting me make Metal Gear Solid anymore, so peace out after Death Stranding 2. And then in 5 years, Konami's gonna be like, we're making video games again. We're doing it with Kojima, and he's making Metal Gear Solid 6. I'm gonna be like, ah!
Perfect.
I still have
the natural flow.
I have not. That's the natural, as God intended. I have not gone through the great honor and privilege of being blocked on Twitter or social media by Hideki Kamiya because apparently he just gives them out like left and right. What, you never heard of retiring from retiring? Yeah, I am now retiring from my retirement, and I am making something new.
I'm done with retiring. I want to do something new.
I hope
Pointless.
Miyazaki. He said that he was gonna make another movie. I think. I hope that he doesn't, because Boy and the Heron was such a good send off.
Yeah, but it's happening.
I know.
And then it'll be probably an even better one. You're like, don't come back. It was great. And you're like, I'm done. Don't worry, I'm done. You're like, that's a lie.
Yeah.
I can see right through you. Just please.
I know.
Just stop.
It's boring doing nothing. Just means he enjoys what he does and wants to keep going. Yeah. Oh, I love that too. Don't get me wrong, but it would have ended on such a good note because Boy and the Heron was such a love letter to all his own like movies and everything that came prior. I don't want him to be like, I'm gonna make one final movie and then have it suck. Like, not that I don't think Miyazaki could ever make a game that or a movie that sucks, but you don't want the slow fade out and like have it be like, oh yeah, the last ones were okay. Like, end on a strong note.
That's true.
Flag in the sand.
Don't want a Toy Story situation here where 3 was perfect and then they're like, we're gonna make a 4th one. Everyone's like, what? It ended so perfectly.
Who wanted that?
Not even the voice.
Not even the voice
Like,
actors.
I'm done.
I hated that. And now they're making Toy Story 5 and I'm like, well, I'm gonna see it anyway, but like I don't want to.
And I didn't watch the 4th one. I was like, no. So I refused to.
It was fine. My thing was like, if you're gonna make another Toy Story movie, and I know you have to do this because of like merchandising, you don't have to tell another Woody and Buzz and crew story. Like, tell another story just in the world of Toy Story, like where toys are alive. Why does it have to be the same characters? I'm still waiting on Cars 4 and Incredibles 4. I'm waiting for One of
It's
those.
Incredibles 4.
Wait,
What
there was
happened
only
to Incredibles 3?
I was gonna say, where's Incredibles 3? I do love a good Toy Story, but The Incredibles needs their time to shine. 1 and 2 were great. Okay, General Onox is here, and he's my best friend now. Sorry, Parallax. Treasure Planet 2. Oh my god. Okay, I don't love Treasure Planet more than I love
Okay.
Haunter. So
Okay, but also, other idea, Atlantis too.
that's up there
Like,
as well.
but also technically make it 3 because they already have technically a sequel that
Oh,
it had almost the same effect of Moana 2 from what I heard about Moana 2, which was it would have been better as a series and it was planned as a show.
yeah.
And then they made it into a movie, and I think that's what happened to the second Atlantis.
They need to get their shit together because in Star Wars they're making shows that should have been movies.
So many. Okay, but like other ones though, like Ahsoka was great in that level.
Oh my
like,
god,
that was
yeah.
perfect amount.
It was pretty good pacing wise. I thought that one could have probably been a movie. But like Andor, perfection. I loved the moments, the quiet moments of that. Book of Boba Fett, get half of that out of here. It's all garbage.
You gotta stop now.
Like,
it was good when it started, and they're like, "We're just gonna keep making more." And I was like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
You've now either you cut it too short where everyone's sad, or you keep it going where everyone is just praying for the day it dies.
Right. Parallax. Oh, wait, you've never seen Treasure Planet, Parallax? I am so upset. If you like Atlantis, you will love Treasure Planet. Onox says, I'm a sucker for space and pirates, so it's got all my boxes. Yeah. Yeah. I just want... Oh, okay. I'm going to get on a soapbox. Why the F do, in the year of our Lord 2025, do we still not have a Kingdom Hearts game that has a Atlantis level and a Treasure Planet level?
First of all, Andrew, don't you dare fucking swear around me. I'm just surprised also at this point with Kingdom Hearts they never made it into a show or a movie. Like, it's crazy how they've had so many games for it. And did they ever make a series out of it? Like,
no. There's probably too many licenses to make like an ongoing series.
Disney.
I know.
Disney.
But
Disney owns everything.
Because they own everything, the next Kingdom Hearts game can have Marvel and Star Wars worlds, and I hope that they do, but they probably won't because they just want you to do Aladdin World again for the 9th time.
Please, no. I'm done.
Not sure with Square Enix. Yeah, I know. I just showed Polisa Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first time, and I forgot how polarizing that game is because I remember when I played it for the first time, I was like, we waited 15 years for this? And then the other half of the time, I was like, we waited 15 years for this! Like, half of the game was amazing, and the other half was like, I want to pull out my eyes. I hate having eyes and ears and hands to experience this game. I wish that I didn't. Atlantis Little Mermaid music extravaganza. Oh my god, yeah, doing that level 1,000 times. No, thanks.
Oh, God.
Anyway, we have definitely devolved from Okami a little bit. I am very happy to hear that it's coming back for a sequel. I will play the first one before the second one comes out. That's at least what I can.
You know what you can also do if you don't have time for streaming it with me around. What you can also do is you can have me as your guide for the segment. If you need to be like, I have a question and you don't want to look online, I will probably know the answer to it.
So General Onox here in the chat has been that for me for Steambot Chronicles, and it's been invaluable. So I will definitely tap into that vast knowledge.
Like, I need you. And be like, all right, let's see what's going on.
I know. We
Just
don't
immediately go stream. And I'm like, this is your problem.
You didn't poop on the right enemy.
And I'll be like, I'm trying to get things to work. I'm like, all right, did you rejuvenate this thing or talk to someone? Gonna.
I was gonna.
I just wanted to check with you first. That's all.
Unfortunately, we don't live close enough together anymore that I can just have you over in person.
Yeah, it's a little difficult.
But
now.
That's what the internet's for. That's how we're having this conversation in the first place. So
The internet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we're on. I thought we were just telepathically sending messages. Oh, my bad.
Well, that too.
Who have I been sending those messages to?
And it's been yeah. Oh my god. And it's been whew, it's been exhausting holding this telepathic link together. So I think it may be time for me to let you go so your cat doesn't kill you.
He's fine. He won't kill me.
And at least not while I'm awake.
I won't let him.
Well, yeah,
He'd be
just put the mask on and you'll just scare the shit out of him. Be like, oh my god, it's a dog.
Like, oh.
Well, Cece,
Yes.
thank you for taking some time out of your feeding your cat schedule to talk about Dog God, which is now the new name of that game, and it's a palindrome.
So, as the last thing I'll end off, the best way I've seen someone describe the game, or someone like put it on a post, was like, describe your game in the worst way possible, your favorite game.
Okay.
I believe the way I described Okami was dog that paints world. So
Ooh,
that is Okami. Dog paints world.
nice.
Paint with dog. It's like painting with Bob Ross, but with dog. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. There's only happy accidents.
Happy accidents. I like that. Onox says Dog Brush Adventure.
Dog Brush Adventure.
I like that. I also like Dog Paint World.
Dog Paint World.
That'll be your next tattoo for Okami. Just like Times New Roman font like across your arm, just Dog Paint World.
I now want one that's just this painting with Dog Ross.
Dog Ross.
Okami
That's
with
good.
Bob Ross.
That's actually really good. I kind of might need to Photoshop that. Parallax says all dogs go to heaven because dog is God.
Dog is God, yes.
I think that may be the best place to end it, and probably what I'll title the video when I put this on YouTube. Dog is God.
Dog is God.
All right. Thank you, Cece. Thank you, Parallax Puddles. Thank you, General Onox. You guys are all rad. Okami with the afro for the thumbnail. Absolutely. We're going to call it a night here. I'll say what I always say, but it's going to be very easy to tell what my recommendation for tonight is going to be. I will say, everybody, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, go to therapy, and play Okami. Thank you, Onox. Awesome to watch as always, and thanks again. Yeah, we'll hopefully see you in the next one. Tomorrow, I will be streaming. I'm going to try my hand at streaming a mobile game tomorrow, if I can get it to work. I'm going to try to play the new Pokemon card game on mobile, and maybe like walk around while I do it. I don't know. Who knows? I've never done it. If not, I'll play some weird. It's Wildcard Wednesdays, so I'll be playing some weird Dreamcast game or something. Anyway, have a good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Go to therapy. Drink water. Play Okami. And poop on your enemies. Good night.
You gotta get those demon fangs.
Hell yeah. Bye.